Guys, it is Kratos and I here to discuss the death of the DCEU. It's over. Years of pleading and begging. Two huge fans of the current DCEU that no longer matter. Here to discuss the news, the death, the future, and the end. Joining
Well,
me, Kratos.
what's going on, guys? We like to start off. Well, I would like to start off by saying that when the Flash comes out, don't expect to see Henry Cavill Superman's cameo. Wonder Woman, she's gone. So that's a good way to start this off.
Henry Cavill fired.
that's uh, that's quite disappointing. It really was.
Yeah, I made a video 2 days ago when they made the announcement. And see, I'm here to talk, but in that other video I made, I was kind of yelling and frustrated and upset
Yeah, I'm
and
surprised you
angry.
didn't have it. I'm surprised you didn't have an aneurysm.
Yeah, I was angry. I'm still upset, but the anger's come down a little bit. I've had 2 days to process
A
these things.
little bit.
Okay, well,
We talk.
I'm not
We
yelling
talk
right
every
now,
day.
so yeah. It was just reported as of what, an hour ago, 2 hours ago, that Henry Cavill's cameo, The Flash, is gone. Wonder Woman's cameo is gone. Even though Henry Cavill just literally came back a month and a half ago for Black Adam, he was at the theater with me. I literally yelled, raised my arms, yelled, "Woo!" It was for nothing.
Well, he wasn't lying when he said to Black Adam, "Let's talk." Yeah, let's talk on how you got me fired. Dwayne really did oversell Black Adam. I honestly feel like he went to Warner Brothers and, well, for some of you who don't know, like The Rock is in wrestling, he was just probably that electrifying to them. Probably gave them a whole list of things that's gonna happen. Sold it well, and unfortunately, Black Adam just did not perform to the expectations as probably Dwayne probably thought, and probably Warner Brothers. And
I
it's
do, I
it's
do want to say one
unfortunate.
thing. I do want to say one thing. And he tried and he fought for us to get Henry Cavill back. Because if it
I
weren't for him,
I
he would have never have ever come back. Granted, it was a short
I,
comeback.
I know you gotta. I thank Dwayne for that, but unfortunately, he didn't live up to his end of the bargain for Black Adam. And
And it's unfortunate because I really enjoyed Black Adam.
I enjoy Black Adam. It has its flaws. It really does. But it almost seems like this universe, if you really look at it, other than what, maybe like 3 or 4 movies, every one of these movies just bombarded for some odd reason. The stories were not cohesive. Everything just did not go as planned for none of these movies. All these movies just either they were mixed reviews or overall they were just a financial disaster. That's what this universe was on, and you can't blame James Gunn for
I
doing
blame
what
him.
he's doing.
I blame
It-
him.
this universe is beyond dead. It's like a dead body right now. It's got rigor mortis is setting in. It's like it's just dead. There's nothing more he can really do to save it. And
But that's the thing. I think all of us, even us included, we thought he was going to come in to fix the universe. I don't think anybody ever really thought he's here to kill it, which is why I think the news broke people the way it did. Right? Like, it sucks. Henry Cavill just came back 2 months ago. Black Adam. Movie's not even out on 4K yet, and he's already gone. In that little 7 weeks, we had that big difference. And I feel like that's why it bothers me. Like,
I've
we
been
just got him back.
I've been a huge To me, till now, Henry Cavill to me is the best Superman. But when everything started off, and it's like I told you, we can go to BVS. Once that movie did not cross the $1 billion mark, like Warner Brothers expected, you could tell they hit the panic button quick because other projects that were in the pipeline suffered massively, massively.
Yeah, but
You can start with
that is
Suicide
on
Squad.
them though, because let's not forget that that was just the second film in the DCEU, and it took Marvel what 5 films to cross $1 billion mark with Avengers. They were
But
expecting Marvel money right away without actually putting work in.
but when you have Batman and Superman, you automatically assume the assumption should be this is a $1 billion movie, hands down. It's a no brainer. You have the two best guys. They're two best properties right there, and for them to fall short, they're probably disappointed. You see, Suicide Squad that suffered immensely. It
Okay.
was financially
Oh,
it
oh.
did great,
I
but
want to always. I
critically,
always like to remind people that movie won an Oscar.
that movie financially made money, but critically, everybody hated it, and that was
I think many consider it, maybe with the exception of Josh Whedon's Justice League, probably the worst film in the DCEU.
and that's what I mean. And it's like it was a trend throughout the entire universe. Wonder Woman, first one was awesome, no doubt about it. The second one was a grenade, just a complete grenade. That movie was just I I enjoyed the movie, but it was nowhere near better than the first one. It was just no. I don't know what Patty Jenkins was thinking, but it was just that's a big no no.
Like I said,
Aquaman,
she didn't write
that
the first one. She wrote the second one. So we know she's a great director, but she was not a great writer.
no, she was not. She needs a pen and paper because that's a no no.
Yeah. No. Yeah, so yeah, there's no Wonder Woman 3, which I still think it sucks. I made a point in my other video. Like some people were happy and some were upset, right? Oh, Wonder Woman 1984 sucked, whatever. So who needs Wonder Woman 3? But let's also not forget that a lot of people hate Thor: The Dark World in the MCU. Hate that film. And the sequel to that is considered the best Thor movie and one of the best MCU movies. So
A
who's to
movie you
say
haven't seen?
I have not seen? And who's to say Wonder Woman 3 couldn't have been that Thor Ragnarok for the Wonder Woman franchise after a disappointing second film?
Well, we'll never know now.
Yeah, we'll
'Cause,
never know. Because not only is Patty Jenkins not doing that movie's just not happening, period. So there's no
yeah.
Man of Steel. 2, no Wonder Woman 3. Apparently there was spin-offs and sequels to Black Adam. That sure as hell ain't happening now.
Well, I'll be like I told you that day. I don't think a Black Adam sequel is even necessary.
No,
I
I
thought
agree on you.
the movie was good. It really was, but it wasn't good enough to warrant a sequel. To me, it was good. To
Yeah,
other people
the
probably hate the
sequel
movie.
should have been the crossover film with Shazam. Shazam 3 with Black Adam, or Shazam versus Black
And for
Adam,
some odd
something like
reason,
that.
yeah, I don't know what Dwayne's problem is with Shazam movie that he just doesn't like. I don't know. I just think his star power, I think, may have gone to him a bit because honestly, a Shazam versus Black Adam is a no brainer because it's in the comics.
Yeah,
So
and
why
there's
not bring
reports
it?
that we know for a fact he didn't want to be in Shazam 1. He said it. He felt like Black Adam should have his own movie, this and that, which I understand where
Which
he
is
was coming
fine
from.
because you want to introduce the characters. I'm okay with that,
Yeah,
and
it's fine.
rightfully so. A lot of these characters should have a movie, maybe two movies, to really introduce them. You know, and that was the problem with the beginning of this Snyderverse DCEU. As soon as BVS came out, we got Wonder Woman, we got Doomsday, we got Lex Luthor, hell, you might as well just throw in the entire cast because
The whole Justice
everybody
League,
had a
the
cameo
whole
in those.
Justice. Yeah, the thing was the second film in the universe, literally in one way, shape, or form, had the entire Justice League in the film.
Yep. And
Lex
then
Luthor, Doomsday, Steppenwolf made a cameo.
yeah, it was a lot. He put way too much in
They
that
did the
movie.
death of Superman.
And then Superman was like this,
What if the world doesn't need a Superman?
just not
Yeah,
talking at all. It was just like
he barely
I'm
spoke in
like,
the film. Thank God for the extended cut that gives him more things to say, more things to do.
yeah, we got 5 lines out of him at least in the extended cut. I was like, Jesus. And I love BVS. I watched that movie 5 times.
Yeah,
Hell,
I love
I bought
BVS
a
too.
I,
Despite
I
its
bought a steel
imperfections and problems, I do love BVS.
I bought a steel box that cost me 80 fucking dollars.
That's
So that
sick.
goes to show you how much of a fan of that movie I was. And then you go to Justice League. Oh boy. Oh boy. I cried in the theater on how bad it was. I cried because I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. When have you seen? Let's start with Batman making jokes. Like I was like, wow, wow. What am I seeing? The MCU or the DCEU? Which one am I watching?
Yeah, they had a. It's like they thought they were doing Adam West Batman again or something.
Oh man, yeah, that was just atrocious, yo. It was just like, thank God. Unfortunately, it's not canon, but the Zack Snyder Justice League rectify that movie and 20 folds over. That Zack Snyder's Justice League movie was awesome. Was awesome. It really rectified
I
a
agree with that one.
lot.
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
It rectified a lot. It really did. Granted, even though it had whew, it had the Martian Manhunter, it had the future scene, it had a lot in there because it really did. But the movie
It
was
was four
just
hours. It was 4 hours, so it had time to show everything it wanted to and tell the story that it wanted to. I mean, 4 hour 4 hour movie. That was a lot, and the movie, at least to me, the 4 hour run didn't bother me. I thought they used this time. Well, those movies are so long that you go like, oh my god, I just wish this was not here or was cut or shorter. But I didn't feel like that with BVS with Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
yeah, no, that movie honestly rectified Justice League. It really did. But at the end of the day, this universe just suffered from bombs after bombs after bombs after bombs, and that's what honestly killed it. You and James Gunn rebooting the whole thing is the unfortunately it is the right call. You have to start you have to start from the beginning all over again. Now let us hope and pray he doesn't make this into another MCU with comedy acts. Let's just hope and pray it keeps
Which,
kind of.
wait,
I
that's the
don't
thing.
mind it,
That's the thing, though. The Suicide Squad had a lot of that tone, and it works in that film. It worked in
but
that film.
it was
I
still
just
a
hope
dark. It
he
was
doesn't
still
do
pretty
that
dark.
for every film.
It was still pretty, and it was still pretty dark as well. Not like
And
super dark,
sure was
but
bloody as hell too.
and that's what I mean. It's like if he can make the universe similar to how the Suicide Squad is, that atmosphere, I I think he's on to something great. I don't want to see. I don't want to see that.
Nobody's denying James Gunn as a writer, as a director. I feel like the love people have for Guardians, the Suicide Squad, is proof he's a good writer, good director. He knows what he's doing. It's just, I like many of us, we're just upset. This is not what we wanted. This is not what we hoped for, and it's unfortunate because really everybody in this universe was really perfectly cast, from Ben Affleck to Henry to Gal Gadot. Hell, Cyborg didn't do much in Justice League. Josh Whedon, he was great in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Ezra Miller was a good Flash. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
he's fucking loony.
Looney, he's choking people. He's doing stuff, and it's like, what? You
It
just gave
makes
him
you
more of a
wonder.
reason.
It makes you wonder why they haven't killed that film, because they killed Batgirl completely. Just threw it in the trash, nearly completed. Because now the movie really doesn't matter. And considering everything going on with him, from choking people, threatening people, running from the cops, making fun of the cops for not finding him. I mean, the guy lost his mind. and that movie's
Well,
still gonna release. And that movie's almost a guaranteed failure with everything he's done. He has a bad reputation right now. Plus competition between Spider-Man, Indiana Jones, Transformers. It's tough. The tough spot for that film.
and yet again, this universe is known for being financial bombs. I expect the four films for next year to all be just epic failures. And it's a
Well,
shame.
yeah, Justice League
The
was a
only
bomb.
one that I think out of all of them, the only one I think that's going to be mighty successful is going to be Aquaman 2. That's right at the end of the year. And I
And
don't
and
foresee,
that's it. And
unless,
that's if those anti mirrors because of Amber Heard don't go not watch it.
yeah, but, and on top of that, if the MCU don't release anything that month to give it competition, but from the looks of it, the road that it has all that whole month of December to itself as of now.
That's
Blue
wow.
Beetle, look, Blue Beetle. You heard about it? I seen what, two photos, and George Lopez opening his mouth about Batman being on there. I'm like, good job, George Lopez. Way to ruin a surprise. So
Yeah, we just
if Batman was gonna appear, you might as well. That cameo is probably shredded right now as we speak. They're probably burning that scene right now.
they if they cut Henry Cavill's cameo from The Flash, they'll cut anything. Again, Henry Cavill just came back, so
Yeah, no. And if you look at it, it almost seemed like
and that
from the
was fucked
way,
up. It was fucked up how they did him to have him announced right. He's back
yeah,
the,
I
the
ain't
day
gonna lie.
after. The day after James Gunn gets hired in this position of power, James Gunn had no intention of ever doing Man of Steel 2 because he literally said he's been writing this Superman story for a while now. So clearly, as Henry Cavill was talking to Black Adam, James Gunn was writing the script.
And you know what? It's unfortunate because it really is. He just came back. He left The Witcher. You know, granted, there was already rumors of him having problems with the directors and stuff, but he really left more. I mean, he was gonna leave regardless, but he really left on the strength of that he's coming back to be Superman. And then to find out that you're fired, like that's kind of heartbreaking. And
I'm,
if you look at when
I'm
this Black Adam
angry.
came out, the way The Rock was setting up the movie, it almost seemed like he was trying to do his own universe within the universe
Yeah,
because
with the
it's almost
Wayne
like,
verse.
yeah, because it's like to him Shazam wasn't part of that universe because he wants nothing to do with that character. He does not want to mingle with that character at all. I don't know why. He just wants to, oh, the fight with Superman. Yeah, we would all love to have seen that fight. It would have been a dope ass fight.
If
But
you guys
really,
never seen Superman Shazam Return of Black Adam, it was an animated 25 minute
well,
short movie. Movie's
yeah, if
awesome.
anybody wants to see them go at it, there you go. You watch it. It's on HBO
It's
Max
a
right now as
great
we speak.
short battle film, whatever you want to call it. That which is why we were so excited to see Henry show up. We were already imagining the cartoon movie in live action and the possibilities all down the drain.
You know, I thought there were. I thought in that scene, I could only imagine a headless Superman not say anything. They might as well have done that like they did in Shazam. Just have Superman walk out and just show no head, just show the
Like I
ass.
said,
That's it.
the one thing that begs question, right? Because I mean, James Gunn has yet to outright say it's dead, but we know it's dead. Especially with Superman, Man of Steel started everything, and when you replace Superman, you're killing the whole universe that goes with it, pretty much. But the question that now begs is, where does that leave Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad? Mainly because the reports suggest Jason Momoa is done as Aquaman to be Lobo, but Aquaman is in Peacemaker, and he is working on a season 2. So where is that gonna leave? Is that show and movie gonna go with the universe, and he's just gonna do his own thing? Because you have Jason Momoa in that show as Aquaman, and you have Ezra Miller as the Flash. See, Superman and Wonder Woman, they're faceless in there. They're their go-to move. But you have two guys from the current DCEU with faces in there. So if you redo the Flash and you redo Aquaman because Jason Momoa is gonna be Lobo, where does that leave that show? Does it die with the DCEU?
I'm assuming it's gonna have to because you already included he was the director of it. He brought in Momoa and Ezra Miller for the cameo. So what does that do to that show? How is it gonna fit in the grand scheme of things?
So
Or is
and
it
then we
or is it even gonna matter now because it's like by December of next year we could all say goodbye to this universe. It's beyond dead right now. Henry Cavill has moved on. If you want to see Henry Cavill, well, there's rumors of him being in Warhammer. So if you guys don't know, that's a possibility. But
yeah yeah he actually confirmed that on his Instagram that he's working on that. That's not a rumor. He actually confirmed that
oh,
on his Instagram.
oh, there you go. He'll
So
be in
good for
Warhammer
him
now.
finding possibly yet another franchise. Hey man, the guy going from franchise to franchise.
Yeah, he was. It sucks, but unfortunately,
It's
I
horrible.
got.
It's fucking.
I
It sucks. It fucking sucks.
told you
And and
this
and and
universe.
let me ask you this personally. I want you to tell me your thoughts. Right, James Gunn. He will do probably. He's gonna have to wall me to win me over. It's not an impossible task. I was one that bitch when Ben Affleck quit, and I've sung the praises of the Batman. But what happens if this new Superman movie that starts the new universe does not perform well at the box office or to their hopes? Even if it reviews well, we've been here before with Superman Returns. A movie that reviewed well didn't bring in the money they hoped, so they just completely canned that sequel that was supposed to come out in 2009 because of the money thing. And again, if you go back and yeah, guys, you can look it up. Green Lantern was originally going to start the not DCEU, that share universe, whatever that was going to be called back then. That movie bombed critically and financially, so there was never any universe built off it. So if the young Superman does not deliver at the box office what they hope, where does that leave the 10-year plan and the new DCU? What do you think?
Well, that's why they're gonna start with Superman, and obviously, Plan B is to go with Batman right
Which,
after.
which he confirmed. I don't know if you saw about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. Somebody
Batman is
asked him.
important.
Yeah, somebody asked him in Twitter if the Batman would be in the new DCU or if he was going to stick to only Matt Reeves Batman. And he's like, oh, and he replied that yes, Batman will be indeed here. So we're possibly going to have two Batmans going on at the same time.
But this is why there's the multiverse. That's what's good about it.
I think that's why
So
some people were upset too, because technically you could have had your young Superman and Henry for one last hurrah, but whatever.
yeah, you could have, but
Especially
it's
that
like
it was not reported that the scrap Man of Steel 2 script that was thrown away, Brainiac was the villain, which you for years have told me that's what you wanted when we would discuss it, that you hope
that should
Brainiac,
have
and we
been
discussed it for years,
that
and that
should have
was
been the villain.
confirmed. That was supposed to be the villain of Man of Steel 2. And that shit just irritates me more.
It's like they just want this universe to die, and like I said, this universe has just been financially just sucking the
Bro,
money out of them. It
let's
hasn't
say,
been
let's say it
doing
right. Let's
anything.
say it right and correct from there was Justice League, but it's like everything after Birds of Prey forward, it's not that good. Birds of
No.
Prey, there's a report whether it failed to break even or it just made enough to break even. That's not good. Even though the movie reviewed well, and I fucking love Birds of Prey,
Yeah.
and the movie reviewed well, it
Then you
didn't
have
bring the
that
money.
long ass title. Just did not make sense.
What the hell was the movie called? Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And then Wonder Woman 1984, unfortunately, released at the start of the pandemic, which Birds of Prey also was affected by the pandemic somewhat. The Suicide Squad was also during a pandemic-ish time, not as much as Wonder Woman, but during a pandemic time. Black Adam, unfortunately, underperformed, but you can blame that to on not as popular of a character, to not releasing in China. There's many factors that could go into that. But it seems like everything from Birds of Prey forward has unfortunately not brought in the money it should. Like I said,
No.
most of those could be put on the pandemic, but Warner Brothers as a company is probably looking at it like, well, it didn't really affect Marvel.
No, it didn't affect Marvel at all.
That's probably how they're looking at it. I mean, hell, they wanted $1 billion from their second movie because Marvel was hitting $1 billion after $1 billion after $1 billion. So
Yeah,
they're
but
probably looking at it. Well, why are our movies bombing and Marvel's at least breaking even or breaking in at least $50 in profit?
it's a shame. It really is. I feel bad out of everybody. I feel bad for Henry, man, because he was
It
so
was
excited.
horrible because he showed up in Black Adam. He showed up in the cameo. Then he announces it on Instagram to the world, guys. I'm here to confirm with a smile. He looked happy. It made me happy to confirm I'm back as Superman.
It
More
made
story. I
everybody
can't wait
happy.
to tell stories to tell. Dwayne told him, "Welcome back, brother." Everything was right. 7 weeks ago, everything was right with the world.
But James Gunn, he's a visionary. He has his vision, and unfortunately, it doesn't include Henry Cavill's Superman.
It doesn't include anything. The DCEU from the looks of it.
You know, we're gonna get a new Aquaman. We're gonna get a new Wonder Woman. It's just it's a clean slate. I'm gonna assume that if this movie does launch 2025, let's say near the end, I'm pretty soon they're not gonna go. I'm assuming actually they're not gonna go with a huge budget for it. I'm pretty sure they want to start off low and work its way up
And
because
that, and I think that's been a problem with the DCU. They've gone with these. A lot of these movies carry these gigantic budgets in movies like Black Adam. They spend what 230 million on the budget and spend 130 in marketing. Like you spend what 350 million on a character that's not that well known. It made a
yeah,
little bit more money than Shazam, but Shazam had like half the budget of that.
and that's the problem. It's like okay, you got The Rock, which is who's considered the high. Well, a year or two ago, he was
He was the
considered the
highest
highest
paid
paid.
actor in Hollywood.
You know, to then, like I said, he went in there and he just oversold Black Adam like there was no tomorrow. They
But
took it
he
and
did.
ran.
Even to us, if you see every commercial, interview, anything he did, the way he worded it, the way he sold it, the way he would tell us, like the what was this quote? I like when you say it.
The hierarchy of the DCEU is about to change. And it did change. He helped wipe it out because his movie. Now, if his movie been successful, it's not to say that this universe would still have. It still probably would have been wiped out. No matter what the
Yeah,
end game is,
I
it's
think,
gonna
yeah,
wipe out.
I think no matter
But
what, James
with Black
Gunn
Adam,
had a
unfortunately,
vision.
failing like it did, yeah, they James Gunn probably looked at the head of WB was like, "This is why I need to start fresh. This is exactly why I need to wipe this out. We have to start from the beginning." And that's the best way to start. You have to start with a Superman movie. You have to start with a Batman movie. You have to get these two guys up and running. If you're going to build this long, intertwined story, you have to start it that way.
Well, that's how the DCU started. Superman and Batman.
Yeah, but you have to be, you never, if BVS was, it almost felt like a little bit more of a Batman movie than anything.
Yeah, it was a
You
Batman
know
movie
what I
with
mean?
Superman in it.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like. You know, Zack Snyder's Batman was a little bit more. He was already more of a little bit older. He was already battle tested, and he nailed it with Ben Affleck and everything. But this Batman, obviously, if Superman is young, I'm not saying this is going to be the same as young as the Matt Reeves Batman, but he's going to be in his young age as
Well,
well.
the character, because Henry Cavill was only 3 years older than Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, in real life. So
That's what I'm saying. What does he mean by this younger Superman? We won't know until somebody gets casted. But what does he mean by a younger Superman? Because Batman, Robert Pattinson's playing a younger Batman, year one Batman or year two, whatever it is. But the actor playing him is 36.
yeah, but I think a younger Superman, if you look at it, they just want to touch more on his, on how he
And when you
was
look at it,
in.
Man of Steel, when it came out, Henry Cavill was in his 20s. He was a young Superman.
Yeah, and like I said, It almost it honestly feels like he's just not a fan of Henry Cavill. It really feels that way. It really feels like he just like no, he really wants to distance himself from this Snyderverse, the DCEU. I always call it the Snyderverse, but the DCEU. He wants to distance. He wants to start from the ground up, and you can't fault him for that. You really can't. And the best way to do it, you have to get rid of everybody. You have to start fresh. This
My,
Superman
my
movie,
my problem with it, like if we like I said, it's not happening. It doesn't matter. It's what we at least were assuming and hoping. I feel like the news would have been taken better by everybody if you at least would have like wrapped up the universe, like in that, whether it's a Justice League 2, which obviously they're probably like, oh, so like, so, but we're not doing another one. But at least some type of film, or like Flashpoint, if Flashpoint would have been that film to close out the universe. I mean, and look, it has Supergirl, which that's going nowhere too. Supergirl's making her debut, and it's stopping right there.
yeah.
And then
Well,
and
and
then
that's the
there and
thing.
then one of the
You're
biggest
just
offender. I'm sorry, but one of the biggest offender is the fact that they brought Michael Keaton back as Batman. Canned one movie he's in, and now they're just canning the whole universe he came back to,
and on top of that, you
and
already
threw
saw
away
reports
Batman
that
Beyond.
and Batman Beyond, which was quite disappointing. But it's who's to say that we won't get a Batman Beyond in this 10-year plan?
Well, Michael Keaton ain't getting any younger, so
Yeah, well, and then on top of that, you know, in this 10-year plan, he wants to use obscure characters that we rarely don't see, which I'm gonna go for it. I really am. I like
did you
that.
see the DC Studios new logo?
Ugh, I think he had it on his Twitter account, right?
No, somebody leaked it by accident. They were wearing the shirt that had DC Studios, and it has a new logo. And obviously, Batman's there, Superman's there, Wonder Woman's there, Flash, Aquaman. The one that was interesting, there was no Cyborg in there. Instead, they had Green Lantern.
Well, I mean, yeah, you have to have Green Lantern. He's part of the Justice League, and you have to. Obviously, that last Green Lantern movie was just like, oof.
A well done Green Lantern movie would be actually amazing. Which is funny. Which if you look at the DCU, how many movies did they announce that never went anywhere?
They announced a Cyborg movie. They announced the Green Lantern movie. They announced so much
Yeah,
stuff, and it
just
just
for shits and giggles, this is every movie that was announced and never went anywhere. Batgirl, Ben Affleck's The Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman Beyond. At one point, they announced a Crisis on Infinite Earth film as possible developments. The Cyborg movie, the Deathstroke movie, Green Lantern movie, the Harley Quinn versus Joker movie. They had at one point mentioned a possible Jared Leto solo film, a Krypton prequel, the Man of Steel 2, the New Gods that was announced in 2018. At one point, they mentioned a spinoff for Black Manta, the Supergirl spinoff, the Wonder Twins. These are all the films that were at one point either announced or mentioned to have been in development that went nowhere.
and it all started, like I said, BVS. As soon as
They got
that,
ahead of themselves. See,
uh, uh,
Marvel took a
they were
route which I
were
think James
riding their
Gunn will take.
pony. Yeah, they were riding the pony of this is $1 billion movie, BVS, hands down. And they announced all these movies. As soon as it got critically slaughtered, didn't cross the $1 billion mark, that's when the panic button was hit. That's when they were like, you know what? We we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And that's when all these movies suffered. All of them.
This sucks.
But we're gonna have to wrap this up, bro. Or we're gonna have to continue this another day.
All right.
But
That was our discussion of the demise of the DCU. Maybe
we
there'll be
gotta do
more to
this
come.
again. We got oh yeah. Once we see more news on Superman and stuff, we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, once we know what happens with the rest of the actors, because we think some of them are still coming back, like maybe Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie. But we don't know. We don't even know where Peacemaker is going to be. So hopefully in the next few days, we know something.
At the end of the day, Henry, You're still, as of now, the best Superman ever. And it's not to say that whoever they get will be good, but unfortunately, the fandom has spoken.
Yeah, which the fandom right now trending huge with like 30,000 tweets was fire James Gunn. So the fandom is not taking it lightly at all.
No, they're not, and it's gonna. It's the more slaughtering he does of this universe, the more the people are gonna get aggravated. And
I'm gonna read the statement I said on the DC group, and then we'll wrap it up, and you can say final thoughts.
yeah,
Um, but we're part of a DC group on Facebook, and I shared my thoughts when 2 days ago. And me personally, I wrote, after years of wishing and hoping for a Man of Steel 2, my dreams are officially crushed today. Henry Cavill is the best iteration of Superman, in my opinion, in Man of Steel, one of the greatest superhero movies ever. I yelled of excitement when he came out in Black Adam, and it was for nothing. They gave us hope only to rip it away immediately. I understand he wasn't going to play Superman forever, and in these types of movies, it's normal to get different versions and iterations, but it truly felt like there were more stories to tell with Henry's Superman, especially after the tease of Superman versus Black Adam. So all I'll say is thank you, Henry Cavill. Hopefully one day we see you in the suit again. He is our generation Superman.
yeah, that's a good speech. And yeah, it's not to say later on in a crisis or a multiverse that we won't see him again.
Please,
I'm
James,
pretty sure.
do it.
Yeah, but he all I gotta say is honestly, you really have to give him a chance. This universe was not salvageable. It really wasn't. Black Adam attested to that with his financial disaster. This universe was
I love the DCU, but if he would have at least kept Henry Cavill as an alternate Superman, not the same DCU, I think I would have. Okay, all right, that's fine. Like Superman and Lois did with Superman. It's the same actor from Supergirl, different universe. If I think the world at least would have been happy if that would have been the case.
yeah. It honestly feels like he's just not a Henry
Henry Cavill
Cavill
guy.
fan. He really is, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's he
Everybody
should have just
has their favorite Superman. Some people love Brandon Routh. Some people love Christopher Reeve. We love Henry Cavill. Everybody has their taste and their favorites. So maybe who knows? Maybe fucking James Gunn ain't a fan of all of them, of any of them, or maybe only Christopher Reeve, or who knows?
so. There was a rumor. I seen there was like five actors who could play, and I've never heard of none of these guys. But we'll wait and see how everything plays out. We
To be
really will.
fair,
But
not many people have heard of Henry Cavill before he was Superman.
Immortals.
Yeah, Immortals and Hellraiser, but whatever.
But yeah, this we have to honestly just we have to move on. We have to say goodbye. It's tough, but that's just how like I said, just like there were many different Batmans, there's many different Supermans, there's many different James Bonds. This is just a revolving door. So as much as attached people get when Michael Keaton left and Val Kilmer was taking over, it's probably the same uproar. Oh my God, why won't you bring back Michael Keaton? It's the same thing. And then when Val Kilmer took over, everybody loved him. I thought he
I
was a great Batman.
just to follow on what you just said, I do not agree with people who saying I'm done being a DC fan. I'm done. I'm
Knee
not.
jerk
I do not.
reaction.
I do
That's a
not
knee
agree
jerk
with that
reaction.
because at the end of the day, because I know he feels the same way as I do. We're fans of DC. We're fans of the character. And even though I'm super angry and I want to fucking yell right now about Henry Cavill being fired, I will be at the theater to watch this new young Superman film. And if it's good and it blows me away, I will come here and say the movie was good. Go watch it. I'm a fan of the character. And like he said, there's been multiple Batmans. We've had multiple Supermen. We've had four. We've had fucking Smallville. We've had the Adventures of Lois and Clark. We've
Oh,
had
what?
what? I think we lost him there. We've had many Superman. So I'll just say we lost him there, but I'll close it off. We've had many Superman, and maybe whoever comes next won't be better than Henry Cavill. I didn't think Robert Pattinson was better than Ben Affleck. I still don't think so. But there was no denying that the Batman was great. And I'm angry and I'm pissed and I wish it didn't come to this and I wish the DCU could continue and I at least wish they could have at least wrapped up the universe with a final crossover film to see the new League of Deathstroke and Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor and see Superman and Black Adam. But we unfortunately we're not getting that. So let's see what James Gunn does for the universe. But I am not happy at all personally. Whatever comes our way, I will check out. This was Kratos got Slayer and Redgrave, and he had a little issue, but Redgrave and he already out. See you guys.